My name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. And today I wanted to introduce you to a moon phase 20, one O.J. Simpson. And he's a beautiful example of a moon phase 20, the triumph of power. So here's O.J., here's his date. He was born on the 9th of July in 1947 at 8:08 a.m. in San Francisco, California. He's a Leo rising, wouldn't you know? 24-degree Leo rising. He's got here Jupiter in Scorpio, Chiron in Scorpio, Neptune in Libra, Pluto-Saturn conjunction there in Leo in the 12th house. That was a very powerful placement for him, and he utilized it very well. Here we've got a stellium in Cancer, and that's Mercury, Sun, and Venus. And Uranus and Mars are in Gemini. And over here is his moon. This moon is really important. Look where it is. It's all that's over there. It's the only planet over there. And so it virtually, as this is, then it's called a bucket. And a bucket is a bowl. Notice this is a bowl, and with a handle. And depending on which way that handle leans, if it leans the way this one is leaning, you're incredibly independent. If it's leaning this way, you do what you do, but you need a little help. So, and so he's got this, he was an amazing athlete. And if he had not been a murderer, he would be remembered as one of the gridiron greats. And I remember watching him in commercials running through the airports. He was a beautiful black man and an excellent athlete. But he suffered from something that, the moon phase 20 is in the air quadrant. And it is, like I said, it's the triumph of power, and it's the most passionate phase of the cycle. It's spontaneous. It's very powerful. Very powerful. It develops its own standards. Now you think about what we've got is 20 is up there in the air quarter, and a 6 is down here in the earth quarter, and they're very, very similar. And what their job is to do is to push the boundaries. You know, what they do is they loosen up, they set new standards. There, that's what I'm looking for. And in order to do this properly, they need to have been exposed to the cultural standards. And unfortunately, O.J., as a child, when the pattern is set, was not exposed. He was raised in a slum, and it was very poor. And that is not going to give you a background of morality or ethics, just because of the nature of the place. I was used to say that you needed a man needed the background of something like the Boy Scouts, but now I'm biting my tongue over that one. Where do you get your moral and ethical standards when you're a kid? You have to have decent parents. You have to be taught virtually what the cultural expectation is. And then what a 20 does and a 6 does is that they say, well, that's too small for me, and they push it a little bit bigger. Give the whole world. They, like I say, they set new standards. Give the whole world a little more freedom, pushing the boundaries. But it's easy for a 20 or a 6 to go too far. My favorite 6 is Willie Nelson, the niche hunter. But a 6 that I consider has gone too far would be Rudy Giuliani. As far as a 20, the 20 has an amazing example of going too far with Hitler. But the Republican Party is also a 20. So that's the issue with them. They need to have some standards at the beginning so that they can just recognize, well, this is impinging on me, and have that moral and ethical understanding that when they push the boundaries, that it's a good thing for everybody, including them. So they are, the moon phase 20 is also called the judge. And so they have a strong sense of justice. But like I say, it has to be kind of standardized. It has to be arise from some understanding from childhood. If they don't have that strong sense of justice, they can very easily go the route of the end justifies the means. They definitely need a code of conduct. Anyway, look at this powerhouse, this amazing, amazing show. Here's the escape artist, the moon in Pisces, this powerhouse here in Pisces. And notice that this has got a square, this power here has a square to the midheaven, but the rest of its aspects are good. It's got this beautiful sextile to Neptune. So, like I say, the escape artist, he could be an illusion to be. I think else has he got? He's got, okay, this Mars is trying this Neptune, so that he was a psychic football player. He could feel it coming. He knew physically. He knew where he was and how to escape the impending doom. But as he escaped over and over again, he began to feel, I think, impervious, that nobody can catch me. And I think that this was pretty much his understanding or his feelings about himself when he murdered his wife. The Jupiter down here, right here, it's right at the base, it's right at the IC. And that gives you a strong feeling of power. God endowed me with this power. And it's got excellent aspects. It's part of this grand trine that was so useful for him. And this and the moon Uranus makes him evasive. You know, if you've got a moon Uranus, it's on whatever level it is, it allows you to be very evasive. If you don't want to answer the question, you can definitely change the subject. Okay, so this aspect, this conjunction right here, this stellium right here, is this trine to the Jupiter, gives him a lot of feelings that he's wonderful. He's very self-satisfied. He's very satisfied with who he is and what he's got. And he should have been. He was an amazing athlete, but he had this deficiency right at the beginning of his life, in which he wasn't given the basis that can hold a moon phase 6 or a moon phase 20 in check. They have to hold themselves in check. Okay, let's move to, I forgot to write it down, but this is the secondary, OJ's secondary progress chart to the 12th of June 1994, in which the murder of his wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, what was his name? It'll come to me after it's no longer important, but I'm old and I'll use that as an excuse. Anyway, this is OJ's progressed chart. And what's interesting, there's a lot that's interesting about this chart. Notice this is the most it's a moon phase 9. This progressed, he's right then at a moon phase 9. Now, if you'll remember a moon phase 9, it's right at the very beginning of the water quarter. And so it's the active beginnings of the water quarter, when the emotional energy of the Demogorgon is dumped into the person, and they have to deal with a tremendous amount of passion. One of the key words for moon phase 9 is fury. Fury. So you can, and what's interesting is, here's the moon. This moon is square his natal moon, which is in Pisces. This is square. It's come to square. And it's got this Queen de Chile, or a 165 aspect to the Mars. And that is an obsessive aspect. I call it the snapping turtle aspect. It ain't gonna let go. And this moon is also afflicted by this opposition to Uranus. Notice that in his original chart, there are no oppositions. There was nothing to hold him back. Nothing put up a barrier to him. And that's pretty much true of the sixes that I know of. That they don't have any. If they have any opposition, it's not anything they can't deal with. They'll use that as one of their tools, quite easily. So he's got this, and the moon. Remember how powerful his moon is. It's isolated over here in the 8th house, and now he's got a square to his natal moon, that powerful moon, and here's what he's mulling over. The sun has progressed to Virgo. The Mercury's here at the dangerous degree 29 Leo, and conjunct Mercury, and that is also conjunct a fixed star called Regulus, which is that fixed star also afflicts Donald Trump. It's right there on his ascendant, and he thinks he can't be stopped. Anyway, that powerful fixed star is right there on the Venus and the Mercury. He's got a Saturn-Pluto conjunction. They're only a degree apart there, and in Leo. This is all in Leo. These 4 planets in Leo. And there's 2 degrees of Virgo. And at 2 degrees of Virgo, that's a Virgo planet in the sign Virgo, in the Virgo decadent, and in the Virgo Dwad. It's the most Virgo-ish place you can be. So he's got that going on with him, poor dear, and the Jupiter down there is still in Scorpio, is conjunct, pretty conjunct the South Node. Now remember what a South Node does to anything good. It degrades it. You put the South Node into anything bad, and alongside anything bad, it degrades it. It makes it less bad. So he's got the South Node degrading this Jupiter, and the spiritual understanding that Jupiter is in us. Okay, and then Mars is right up here in the midheaven, and the Uranus, and because it guarantees that what he did here on the 12th of June in 1994 is going to be a big public issue, mostly because this Jupiter's in Cancer. I think, Mars is in Cancer. I think conjunct maybe our Jupiter in Cancer, the United States Jupiter in Cancer, and this Uranus at 26 is almost conjunct our Mars at 22 or 23, I think, of Gemini. So it was bound to make a splash. It was a circus. Yeah. Anyway, so here's where he was, the fury of a moon phase 9, brooding and brooding and brooding over his partner, who was really important to him. You know, when he married Nicole, her son was right on his is right on his midheaven. Let's look at that. Okay. No, where is her son? Okay, her son is in Taurus. Okay, I was wrong. It's in Taurus. It's right here it's right here at the 10th. It kind of shows the motive of choosing to marry a white man or a white woman, this beautiful black man, always a little bit insecure about the, every moon phase 20 has to deal with something, that is wrong, and sometimes it's a disease or race issue of racism, which was what was true here in OJ's case, of course. Beautiful black man, applauded, but once you're off the gridiron, you know, you're still a black man. He never acceded to that, and that's an issue with a 20. Is what they do is somehow rectifies, helps the whole issue of whatever they're dealing with, like racism. But he didn't. He dodged the situation entirely until he was on trial for murder, and then he realized that he was a black man on a trial for murder. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? This is the United States. Anyway, what was I? Oh, I wanted to talk about Nicole's chart. Let me see if I have. Here it is. Nicole's Nicole's son is in his on his midheaven. Her Chiron is right here, and I thought that was interesting. It didn't really know what to think of it, but her Chiron was in Aquarius, which is alienation of a sort, and she was moon phase 11, and often that is an issue with moon phase 11. You know, moon phase 11 is where the lunar mind is dragged down into the power chakra by some rape or something, and leaving the solar mind to go, what happened? Where am I? What am I doing? I don't know how to do it here. And have to force that solar mind to seek out, virtually learn to pay attention to its subconscious, so it has guidance. And then the next moon phase 12, that's when the solar mind makes that deep connection that is called the Eros Gamos, the royal marriage, the holy marriage. So she was an 11, and she was in the throes of, and it's difficult being an 11. It's a one of the power rectangle, but it's hard. It's hard because of that initiation that is initiated at 11. And initiations, what they do is they kill your past and free you up, and so that you're all new. And so let me see what else I had about Nicole. It was a contentious marriage, I think, from the very beginning, because her Mars is on his Mercury. Her Mars is on his Mercury. Her Uranus was on his Pluto. And what else do I have? That was it. That was it. That was the point I think I was wanting to make. Is difficulty. He was bossy. He was a typical man, I think. Bossy, and I want you to do what I want you to do. But he because he was he had this Leo here. What Leos are supposed to do, what they do is they marry a person that's free, that so that they can teach Leo not to have to be in the center of attention all the time, but can be in the periphery watching things once in a while, so they learn something new. So anyway, and she really did bring that to him, and the struggle here and on the Pluto and on the Mercury was intense, and it resulted in her death. So he in the trial he was acquitted. He was acquitted, and that must have been a no holds barred for him. Okay, I am free to do anything I want. So that when he decided to steal back his some things that had been stolen from him, and I think they had been legitimately stolen from him, he armed himself and his gang and went and did it, and that put him in jail. That robbery was a step too far. So he recently died, and it is a pity that he hadn't the background, the rearing up, the childhood that would have given him ways to deal with this anger and this rage. That, it's useful to an athlete, but as some stand-up comic pointed out, anytime you get a wonderful athlete or wonderful somebody doing one wonderful thing, they're crazy in every other way. To focus so hard on something leaves you crazy in other directions, and I think that might be true. But it is a pity. It is a pity because he was a beautiful man and an amazing athlete. And he just went nuts. Anyway, that's OJ. I hope you're well. And like I tell you every time, don't forget to tell the people you love that you love them. It's important for you, and it's important for them, and it's important for the world at large. Take care. Bye-bye.